Today's video is going to be a little bit different to the type of videos that I usually film here on my channel. So obviously a lot of the videos I film are really heavily based on tips and advice that I can provide you to help you change your life and build a successful business online. But I talk a lot about changing your life, and I sat down recently and actually had a massive reflection on my own life and how much I've actually changed myself. This actually all started from, the Facebook memories. One came up and it just was like 8 years ago, and I was just in a completely different space. And so I really started thinking about all the big changes that I've made that have allowed me to go from essentially a lazy, unproductive, unfocused party girl to a multiple six-figure entrepreneur running a business, this successful YouTube channel. And I really wanted to share this story with you, kind of taking you on a trip down memory lane throughout my life so that I can really show you that no matter where you are in your life, no matter what's going on with you, what position you're in, what choices you've made that have led to the life that you have today, that you can change. If you have goals, if you have dreams, if you have a vision, no matter where you are right now, change is only a decision away. And I hope that my journey and my story and me being really vulnerable and sharing this with you today inspires and proves to you that that is the case. If you did enjoy the video, I would very much appreciate it if you gave it a big thumbs up. I'm really bearing my soul here, so please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. And also, if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe. Obviously, what I want to prove with this story is that change is possible, but really what I want to show you is how change is possible. Because correct me if I'm wrong, you've probably tried to change your life before, whether it's become more successful in business, health, relationships. You've probably got this idea of who you want to be and the things that you want to experience in life. And yet when you try to make it happen, you retract back into your old ways and end up feeling extremely frustrated. And honestly, this is because there really are three levels of change. The first level of change is what we know. We know that we should eat healthy. We know that we should work more on our business to create success, put more content out there. The second is what we do. Yes, of course, we can start going to the gym, we can start going live. But if we don't actually change who we are, which is the third level of change, none of that will stick. And so where my story really starts is, I guess, way back in primary school. Let's just put it this way. I was a little bit chubby in primary school. I was kind of tall as well, which is really weird because all the people who've met me in real life are like, whoa, you're so much shorter than I thought you'd be. But I was kind of tall and I was kind of chubby. And all of my friends were really skinny, they were really little, they were really athletic, and I just wasn't. And so because of this, I had identified myself as, the bigger girl. And what I was seeing in movies at that age was like the bigger girl was always like the tough one, the tomboy. And I wouldn't necessarily say I was a bully in primary school, but I definitely kind of assumed that role of I'm gonna be a tomboy, right? But I myself did get bullied a little bit about being fat. It was never kind of that direct, oh my God, you're overweight or anything like that. But it was all the sudden sly comments when we did dancing, oh, Erin, you're the biggest, so you'll be able to do this move. Or even once, actually, we were doing weight and measurements in class, and my teacher, I was about 10 kilos heavier than all my friends. I think I weighed 42 kilos at the time, which I don't even remember what grade this was in, but it was a lot. I was overweight, right? I remember this distinctly. My teacher had weighed everyone in the class in front of everyone and put all the weights up on a board. She came round to me, handed me a bag of rice and said, you weigh 42 of these. I was fully weight shamed. So being that was kind of this identity that I had created for myself throughout primary school, the tomboy, I kind of really wanted to break that when I went to high school. I didn't want to be known as the bigger girl, or I didn't want to be known as the non-skinny blonde athletic one. So when I went to school, I really assumed that role of I'm going to be a badass, I'm going to be a rebel, I am going to just have what's mine almost. So anyway, I went to high school and I really did. I was trying to be the badass. I would never wear my uniform properly. I mean, all of this stuff is so elementary, but I would never wear my uniform. I would always wear my sports clothes. Went to a Catholic school, so we fully had to wear no makeup, hat, skirt below the knees, all of that stuff, and I just fully rebelled. I got really, really bad grades. I would never listen. And then on my second school that I went to, I actually was put on a good behavior contract for fighting. I know. But anyway, I just really made it my identity that I was this badass, didn't care about authority, didn't want to do well in school, party girl. And I wanted to share that with you because I just really want to prove that we will always act in accordance to who we believe we are. In primary school, I really did think I was tomboy, silly kid, because that's just who I had to assume the role of to make myself feel significant. And then on the contrary to that, when I went into high school, I really didn't want to identify with who I was in primary school. And so I built this personality for myself. And the thing is, my life unfolded in exactly the way it should for this character that I had chosen for myself. The way I was treated in primary school, all the things that happened to me was because of the way that I was identifying myself. And in high school, I got in a lot of trouble. The people that I naturally attracted into my life, the people that I hung around, friends that I made, the situations that I got myself in, they all had to do with who I believed I was and who I was choosing to be, more importantly. So I carried this personality for, pretty much my whole entire high school and then after high school life, even though I did go to university and studied, marketing and public relations. For the beginning of that, I really was still that I'm just gonna go out and party. I don't care about grades. I wasn't doing very well at uni. Well, at the time I was at what was called TAFE. I would never go. I would always skip class. I would always hand in my assignments at the last thing. Basically I was kind of going nowhere. Because again, that was the identity that I had chosen for myself. I wanted to be seen as someone who basically just didn't care. And we are all trying to feel significant. So however we're showing up in our life right now and the personality that we've built for ourselves, we do that for security, we do it for significance, and we do it because it's what ultimately gives us meaning to our lives, whether that meaning is positive or not. You hear a lot of people who create scenarios for themselves. You hear about the victim mentality. This all comes from us trying to give meaning to ourselves. Well, we have to stop and ask ourselves, is that meaning positive? For me, it definitely wasn't. Anyway, I remember one day when I was at uni, so I walked into the library and my friend Yvette, she was sitting in the library as well. She was studying psychology at the time. I was obviously studying marketing, PR, and business. And she showed me this video. It was of Eric Thomas and the video was called The Truth. I'm gonna leave it linked below. I definitely recommend you watch it. Basically, this video is just this guy giving a talk to some students, basically yelling at them if you want to be successful in life, you have to study, you can't go out, why are you always on your phone, all of this stuff, just very stuff that was obviously really relevant to me as a 22-year-old girl who all I did was party. But there obviously was something in me that wanted to be successful. Because when I heard that video, I decided that I wanted to change. I looked around at all these students studying. My friend Yvette, she was studying, to be a psychologist. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna throw any of this to waste. I literally remember deciding in that moment that I wanted to make something of myself, that I wanted to be successful, that I could get good grades. And you know what? I actually ended up graduating my degree in the top 15% of my school. Going from someone who was barely there, who barely handed in their assignments on time, I was able to graduate with honors. And honestly, I just wanted to share that part of my story because it really does come down to who you're choosing to be. And please hear me when I say who you are choosing to be. So another really pivotal moment for me was health and fitness. So if you've ever scrolled back far enough on my channel, you will actually know that I started this channel talking about my lifestyle as someone who was really into health and fitness. Prior to hearing these kind of motivational videos, I never identified as someone who was healthy. I wasn't overweight anymore because I was partying so much, but I definitely wasn't healthy by any means. But finding these motivational videos and starting to identify myself as someone who was productive, proactive, the natural next step for me was starting to identify myself as someone who took care of myself. I started finding like YouTube channels. I remember the first one I used to watch was, her name was Brenda Lee Turner from Lean Secrets, and then Nikki Blackadder. I would always watch them. I would really see how they were living this healthy lifestyle, and I wanted to see myself like that. And so I changed the way I saw myself relative to health and fitness. First, I changed the way I saw myself academically. I decided that I wanted to be someone who got their work in on time, and look how that turned out. I graduated in the top 15%. Then I wanted to see myself as someone who was healthy and fit, and I made the decision that that was going to be the identity that I was going to take forward. And so I started working out, I started eating healthy, and I got really, really healthy and fit. Go back and look at my channel. Both of these two pivotal moments kind of have led me down on the path of where I am today. If I hadn't started seeing myself who was someone who, aspired to become something, who wanted to get good grades, when I went to that PR event, if you have watched my business story, I'll leave it linked on the screen now, you'll know how I started all of this. But when I went to that PR event, that advice of getting online and building an audience, it wouldn't have resonated with me because it wouldn't have been how I saw myself. I wouldn't have absorbed or attracted that into my experience. Very much like when I was younger and I was attracting negative experiences for how I saw myself. Because now I was seeing myself more positively, and I was identifying myself as someone who was smart, who was able to go somewhere in life, because that's what I was telling myself and then affirming to myself with all of these motivational videos I was watching. That's what spiraled into me starting a YouTube channel, me feeling like I wanted to start a business, and then ultimately leading up to where I am today. Me being healthy and fit was the thing that made me film all these YouTube videos, build this audience, and it all mushed together into good decision after good decision after good decision. But it all started with how I saw myself. Yes, what I did had a big part in it, the actions that I took, but ultimately those actions were taken because of who I saw myself to be. The next and final kind of big change was when I started seeing myself truly as an entrepreneur. I started seeing myself truly as a coach. All the decisions that I've made here on my YouTube channel with my business, launching, selling, making money, making six figures, investing in myself, saving money, now buying a house, like all of this has come down to my identity and how I see myself. And truly, truly, I know it sounds dramatic, but it all started that day in the library when I heard something that allowed me to see myself, or gave me the permission to see myself as someone I was not. Honestly, I'm going to leave that video linked. Please go watch it because I think you'll understand the exact way that he explains things. Basically, you need to sacrifice who you are now for who you are becoming, is truly that line that really, really got me from that talk. And so I hope by me sharing with you a little bit more about kind of my journey, I know I didn't go into too much detail, but just giving you the footnotes on my life and where I've come from. My Facebook is telling me that 8 years ago, I was feeling crappy because I hadn't slept all night because I'd probably been out partying till 4 a.m. And now here I am sitting and filming a video for thousands and thousands of people. Well, in all honesty, there's money rolling into my account from the products that I sell in my business. And this is the life I've created for myself, all because I decided I could, because I decided that's who I wanted to be. So wherever you are in life right now, honestly, no matter how old you are, no matter what you're experiencing, no matter how your identity has unfolded into your experience, you can change that. You have the power to change, first of all, how you see yourself, and second of all, what happens to you because of that. All right, that is it from me. I really, really hope that you did enjoy this video. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below, because I do, for some reason, find it very difficult to talk about myself sometimes. Even in podcast interviews, people are always like, why you always turn your story about yourself into advice? I just really love helping you guys, but I really wanted to share this with you today, especially as a prelude to another video that I am going to create all about the specific things that you can do to change the way you see yourself. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.